I released my first song as a solo independent artist in 2019. Now, before that, I had had a pretty successful career as a drummer, being in bands, playing as a hired gun for other bands. I'd been signed to major label record deals, played a bunch of arenas, done a whole bunch of cool stuff, but I had never released my own song that I had created by myself and put out under my own name. If I could go back in time to 3 years ago when I first started releasing music, here are the 10 things that I wish I had known. Now, if you're new here, my name's Tom, and on this channel, we talk about music marketing, branding, NFTs, and more. Everything we need to know to move from making music as a hobby to making music as a business. And today we're going to talk about 10 things I wish I had known before releasing music of my own. So let's jump right into it. Number 1, in the beginning, quantity over quality. Now, I know there's going to be a lot of people in the comment section that disagree with this. Well, it's got to be good enough to put out, Tom. Yes, I'm not saying it doesn't have to reach a specific benchmark of quality according to you and what you're willing to put out. But my point is, I wish I had known that I needed to release as much material as I can initially. And this is for a few reasons. Number 1, clear out the pipes, get all the bad out, write as much as I can, make as many tracks as I can, finish as many tracks as I can. 2, finding my sound. I didn't know what kind of music I wanted to make when I first started creating music and putting it out, but I wish I had moved a little bit faster so that I could have gotten through all of the testing before I got to the sound, which has kind of ultimately become what it is that I make. And number 3, if you want to build momentum and traction on really any platform on the internet today, but specifically Spotify when you're releasing music, Spotify's mechanics work just like the mechanics of Instagram or YouTube or anything else. The more you feed it, the more it learns about what it is that you do, and the better it's going to be able to find your audience on your behalf. Number 2, I wish I had known to take more risks. In the beginning, you don't have an audience. You don't have anybody who's paying attention, and you can kind of fail on the small stage over and over again without it really mattering. Kind of wish I had known that I had the liberty to take more chances and try different things, try different genres, try different sounds, basically just test the waters to see what I'm good at, what I enjoy, and then what people enjoy hearing from me. Number 3, consistency is king. Be consistent in your output. I wish that I had embraced that early on and stuck to a definitive timeline. Even now, I'm not great about sticking to a timeline for my music releases. I mean, I've got YouTube dialed in. A video comes out every Thursday at 10 a.m. Central Time, like clockwork. Posting music consistently, releasing music consistently on Spotify and Apple Music and all that, I still haven't gotten that quite dialed in, and I wish that I were better about that. And I wish that I knew that when I first started so that I could embrace that better and realize that releasing music on a schedule is no different than releasing content on a schedule like YouTube or Instagram or anything else. Number 4, think in years, not days or weeks or months, years. I didn't do a great job when I first started of understanding that this is a long game. I've adopted that now, but when I first started, I was just kind of focused on the here and now, constantly playing catch up to try to get something out and try to post videos and not really thinking about what this was going to be like 5 years from now or 10 years from now. I was just doing to do. And I think on one hand, it's good. You need to just get in there and play around, make songs, make content, make videos, whatever, and have fun and figure it out. But don't get impatient. I got impatient early on sometimes and would get discouraged. And then I'd go through burnout, and then it would take me a minute to get back. Instead of thinking about I'm working for 45-year-old me instead of 35-year-old me or whatever. Think long-term. What is this going to look like in 10 years? Number 5, batching content. I'm great at this with social media now. I was horrible at it at first. I played catch up to try to get a video out on time, get a song released in, some semblance of a schedule, trying to think of something to post to Instagram today. And now I have switched that up where I batch my content. I want to do this with my music better. I think it's really important to do that with your music so that you can plan out your releases, have that release cycle. How many songs am I going to release as singles? Which ones am I going to waterfall, if any? When is the album going to come out? This requires a lot of advanced thought, but I think it's really important. I wish I did a better job of it. I want to try to do a better job of it. And I wish I had started that habit when I first started releasing music. That way I would never have that anxiety of trying to get a song out, and I would know what was coming down the pipe for pretty much the whole year. I mean, I've got my release schedule done for 2022. I know every song I'm going to release in 2022 and when. And the amount of pressure that alleviates for me is amazing. So yeah, batch your content, batch your music. Number 6, narrowing my focus. I think when I first started making music and trying to post about it on the internet, I tried to be good at everything all at once. And I think most of us do that. You start out and you think, well, I've got to release music, and I've got to start a YouTube channel, and I've got to have an Instagram presence, and I've got to post to TikTok, and I've got to make sure I'm active on Twitter, and I've got to be in the Discord every day. It's 1,000 different things that you have to keep up with. And the thing that always ends up suffering for me is actually making music. I wish I had thought to myself, you know, I'm just going to pick one. I'm going to get really good at it. So number 1, I'm going to release music consistently, and then I'm going to pick one social platform to do all the music stuff on. It kind of ended up that way for me. I ultimately leaned into YouTube, and I was just focused on making music and making YouTube videos. And then once I got good at those, I started to pick up Instagram. And once I got good at Instagram, I started to pick up Twitter. And then after that, TikTok, and so on and so forth. When I was first starting out, I wish I had known, you know, pick one platform and kill that, and then worry about adding another one on top of it. Number 7, community first. All of this stuff gets so much easier when you really focus on building a community and building an audience. Now, those are two different things. Really, what you're trying to do starting out is build an audience, and then within that audience, you will build a community. If you've got 100,000 subscribers, there's going to be 10,000 of them who are part of your community, maybe. But the other 90,000 are your audience, and that's great. You want an audience, but you also want a community. But you want to build both, because trying to like moonshot making a release go off with a release campaign and you've got less than 1,000 followers on Spotify, trying to get a video to blow up on YouTube and you've got less than 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. Like, it's really, really hard and virtually impossible to get anything to go off without having a built-in fan base or community for what you're doing. Number 8, this one's very personal for me because I started releasing music, I felt, late. Age doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how old you are. It's never too late to get started. I was 33 when I first released a track of my own. And this was after a decade-long period of being a professional musician as a drummer. But I didn't release my own music until I was in my 30s. I mean, I've spoken to people who have released their first track in their 40s, 50s, and 60s. It is never too late to get started, and nobody cares how old you are. It doesn't matter. Nope, nobody cares. Number 9. I think this one is super duper important. And I think it's one that people not only overlook, but some people actively avoid because of discomfort. Have a plan to monetize what you do. It's not all about money. It's not all about the money, but having revenue from your craft makes it a lot easier to keep doing it. If you don't have enough money to sustain what you're doing, then you're going to have to go somewhere else to earn enough money to live. If you're taking money from your job to pay for this hobby, there's only so much you can put into it before you reach a point where, you can't pull money from your bills. I wish I had thought about this earlier, to have a plan to monetize my music endeavors so that at the very least they're paying for themselves. Once I got to a point where I was earning a little money from YouTube and a little money from streaming and kind of the system was paying for itself, that just lifted a whole ton of pressure from my shoulders where I didn't have to keep pulling money from my job to pay for this thing that I was trying to build and grow. Once that thing that I'm trying to build and grow, once it started to sustain itself, then it was a lot easier to push down harder on that button and start to scale it up. That question can creep in of why am I doing this? Am I doing it for the likes? Am I doing it for the views? Some people are. Fine, do you. I think if you have an idea on the other side of it of okay, ultimately what I'm trying to get to is get a monetized YouTube channel or make X amount from streaming or sell some t-shirts or sell downloads or sell vinyl records or something like that. You can get to a point where you've got the fan base to turn a few into customers and then it sustains itself. If you can just think about that at the beginning, it makes the strategy and the long-term play a lot easier to see out into the distance, which goes back to that whole idea of thinking in years. And then the last one, number 10. Number 10 of the 10 things I wish I had known before releasing music of my own. Take care of yourself. I early on was horrible about like taking time away from this. I still am not awesome at it, but I have gotten a lot better about it. Putting the phone down, turning my brain off, making sure I get a good workout several days a week, making sure I, take my vitamins, as ridiculous as that sounds, like I'm a little kid, take my vitamins, get a good night's sleep, eat reasonably well, drink enough water. All of that stuff prevents burnout from happening. And it allows me to get in here every day and be excited about the stuff that I'm making. When I'm tired and I haven't slept well, I haven't worked out in a while, I haven't eaten right, I feel like garbage. When I take care of myself, everything else goes better. So those are my 10 things I wish I knew before releasing music of my own 3 years ago. If you are early on your journey, I still think I'm early on my journey, to be quite honest. I've only been releasing music for 3 years. So if you're like me and you're early on your journey, or even earlier than I am, maybe these 10 things will help you have an easier time of navigating it before you run into any roadblocks that inevitably we kind of all hit sometimes. If there's one that you think that is very helpful that I left out, let me know in the comments. And if you want to talk about this more, you want to discuss this video or any other videos you see on this channel, join the DuPree X Discord, link in the description of this video, and there is a link right here. And come and chat with us. Come hang out with this awesome community we're putting together in the Discord server. We can talk about music marketing, future releases, wins you've had, NFTs, all the things that you want to talk about as an independent artist. I promise you there's a community there ready to connect with you and talk about it. With all that being said, before I let you go, if you don't subscribe to the channel, make sure to hit that subscribe button. And at the end here, got a couple more videos you can check out. And as always, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.